Yes, folks. Today I want to discuss Ngati Porou's so-called customary rights of the foreshore and seabed of the East Cape of New Zealand. But actually I would really like to hear what your opinions are on this issue. But as this is kind of a delicate, almost racially charged issue, I'd like really kind of constructive opinions. I really don't want racial rants of anything of that kind, because that doesn't help anyone. Now, in my opinion, our air, our rivers, our lakes and our ocean belong to everyone, not just a select few. And I'm opposed to anything that divides New Zealand, and this issue is quite divisive. You simply cannot afford rights to one group of people at the expense of others. That causes tribalism. Now let me be clear. I'm not blaming Maori for this. I am blaming the law, our legal system, for allowing this to happen. A law that shouldn't exist. Now I think most Maori are well past 1840 now, well past that. So why do we keep going back there? So isn't it about time we scrapped the Treaty of Waitangi and became one people, one unified people with equal rights? Anyway, let's have a listen.
After more than a decade of negotiations, the country's second largest iwi is on track to become the first to secure customary title over its foreshore and seabed. The bill paving the way for Ngati Porou passed a milestone in Parliament today. The hapu, or sub-tribes of Ngati Porou, are situated along the North Island's east coast, including Gisborne. The iwi will also have rights to inshore areas up to 22 kilometres off the coast. Political reporter Mikey Sherman has more.
It's a journey that's taken 16 years.
It is emotional, but it's a good, happy emotion.
And is this guy actually a Maori? He looks about 16th Maori at the most. He's even got sort of greenish blue eyes. So which raises actually another question, doesn't it? How do you define a Maori? Now, according to the Stats Department, you only have to be of Maori descent to qualify. So in other words, you could have 99% European blood and still be a Maori, which is completely absurd. Which raises yet another question. Why does Maori blood take precedence over European blood?
And you can tell by the singing and the songs that people are pleased to be here.
Today is about Ngā Hapu o Ngati Porou.
Today's agreement legally recognising Ngati Porou's mana over its coastal and marine area, giving the iwi greater influence with local councils and government departments, protecting customary rights like food gathering and...
Like food gathering, so that means Europeans will have to pay now to collect shellfish.
And identifying wāhi tapu, sacred sites, including restricting access to those areas.
It's all about putting in place the legal tools to recognise that those rights have existed since before colonisation, and they continue to exist now.
Ngati Porou were the only tribe to reach an agreement under the controversial Foreshore and Seabed Act. But following its repeal and replacement with the Marine and Coastal Area Act, Ngati Porou's agreement has now been brought up to date.
It's a shock when somebody tells you that something you thought was yours is no longer yours.
Yeah, there's a bit of feeling amongst certainly my colleagues and I that this is a case of coming full circle.
Territorial rights were at the heart of the foreshore and seabed debate. Rights akin to ownership, it's the next big step outlined in today's agreement, and Ngati Porou has already lodged an application with the High Court. It would mean Ngati Porou would have complete veto over some proposals or applications.
Complete veto over some proposals. So maybe a European mussel farm, perhaps?
and own minerals such as sand, gravel and iron. It could also propose bylaws to stop individual or commercial fishing in special areas.
So there you go, folks. You won't even be able to fish in certain areas.
Commercial fishing industry and other extractive industries. They've shown me how concerned they are, but look, I'd have more confidence.
Now the iwi has to show it's lived exclusively in the area since 1840.
How confident are you that you can reach that test?
Very confident, because our people have always been there.
A connection that'll continue for generations to come. Mikey Sherman.
Yes, folks. I think it's time for us to get past this kind of divisive nonsense. It's time now for one law for all. And if we can't get there, folks, I think our future is very bleak.